and welcome to the Star Wars Shatterpoint Stats Center. I'm your host, Steve, and join me as I look back over the 5 events held across 5 countries with 45 players playing this past weekend. It is also worth noting that while we won't be looking at these events, there were 3 unrated events that took part in the USA, with another 20 players taking part as well. So Shatterpoint, same as last week, still continuing to go along. Very healthy game while we wait for the balance update. But let's now move and look at our first event. And our first event takes us to Russia for the Force Trials 27. So this was just a 3-round event, and in first place we have Griswolf. And Griswolf was running on Never Tell Me the Odds, General Solo, Agent Callus, and the Rebel Commandos, Cassian, Chewie, and Baze and Chirrut. So interesting to bring Callus there, because there isn't a huge amount of synergy with that list. No Spectre in there either. So interesting to go with Callus at that one, but just to get those clutch rerolls at the right time. So yes, they went 3-0. Then Mikhail is our first of our 2 and 1s, and we can see we have Krennic, Vader Fallen Master, and the ISF, General Veers, we love to see him, and the Stormtrooper Sergeant with the Death Troopers on shifting priorities. So good to see Veers going 2 and 1. And then our final list going 2 and 1 is Bar-Uk, and they were running Gideon, Krennic, it seems. So shifting priorities, Krennic, Death Trooper Specialist, and the Shore Troopers, with Moff Gideon, Death Trooper Escort, and the Death Troopers. So yeah, good to see there. Good to see some Empire getting some love here as well. So yeah, congratulations to Griswolf on the 3-0. The next event is out in Hungary, Aggressive Negotiations, and I'm just going to highlight the fact that there were 8 players registered for this event that was ended, but there wasn't any games played listed on Longshank, so hopefully everything was okay and it did go ahead, but if not, I'm sure we will pick it up in a future episode. Over to the UK now for the Struggle at Dark Sphere, episode 14. And at the top of the list here, we can see some schmuck, Shatterpoint Steve. And he was running Darth Vader, Jedi Hunter, Padawan Ahsoka, Phil's clones, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shakti, and the Padawans, Cassian, Ezra, and Baze and Chirrut, and then Kanan, Sabine, and the Rebel Commandos on Never Tell Me the Odds. So, yes, if you are interested on hearing more about why I brought this list and hearing about the games in detail, I have released a tournament recap. So if you haven't seen that one, please do go and have a look. And my lists, the amount I played Cassian and Kanan in the first 3 games, and then rounded out the day with Vader and Ki-Adi going 4-0. Then if we look in the second place, the first of our 3 and 1s, we have Phil Johnson, aka Tabletop Impulse. So Phil will also be releasing a video later on today, so do check that one out when it appears. And Phil was running Dooku, Jango Fett and the Magna Guard, Asajj, Nosseri and the Aquadroids, Cassian, K2SO and the Rebel Commandos, and Leia, Bodhi and Baze and Chirrut on Sabotage Showdown. This is Phil's very, very standard list. We see this a lot on the stat show. And then the breakdown of what he played was, it was Cassian and Leia in the first 3 games, and then Dooku and Asajj in the last one. And then in third place, we have James Green. And James was running Vader, Jedi Hunter, Obi-Wan out of hiding, and the Padawans, Ki-Adi, Ahsoka, and the Republic Clone Commandos. So slightly different build to the list that we saw earlier. Then we have Leia, 3PO, and the Rebel Commandos, Jin, Callus, and Zeb. Oh, love to see Zeb on the table, with Sabotage Showdown as the mission. And James ran the Ki-Adi Vader, then dropped the Jin and Leia once before returning to the Ki-Adi Vader for the next 2 rounds. And then finally, our last 3 and 1 was Louis, and Louis was running the Armourer, Bo-Katan and the Covert Mandos, Jin, Sabine and the Clan Kreese, then Maul, third sister and fourth sister, with G.I., Ezra and fifth brother. So lots of tiebreakers there on the table, and strategic positions was the mission. And Louis ran both lists twice, so it was Maul and G.I., then Armourer and Jin, then Maul and G.I. again, and Armourer Jin to finish out the day. So yes, there are our 3 and 1s, and yes, I was very lucky and managed to get another tournament win. We move over to Canada for the next event, the Out of the Box Games Day, and as we scroll down, we can see this is a 3-round event, and in first place we have Eric, and Eric was running the Armourer, Paz Vizsla, and the Mando, Covert Mandalorians, the Mandalorian, Bo-Katan, and the Clan Kreese on strategic position. So great to see a full Mando list doing very well, and we know from our stats that the Armourer and Mando doesn't always perform very well, so great to see that it went 3-0. Then in second, we have Goombalax, who went 2 wins and 1 draw. And this was a almost full Spectre, so it was Hera, Sabine and Chopper, with Kanan, Ezra and the Rebel Pathfinders. So rather than going for the Rebel Commandos, choosing the Rebel Pathfinders and no Zeb on Never Tell Me the Odds. But great to see almost full Spectres going all the way. Then in third place, we have another 2 wins and a draw from Sassimo. They were running Hunter, Crosshair, and Echo and Tech, so bad batch there. And then Boss Fixer and Sev and Scorch on Never Tell Me the Odds. Then our first 2 and 1 is Jean-Nicolas, and they were running Hunter, Wrecker and Omega, and the Republic Clone Commandos with Obi, Wolf, and Echo and Tech. So quite a lot of bad batch around as well, and the mission was Sabotage Showdown. Then in fifth, we have Mike, and Mike was running Riff, Django, and the Weakways, then CAD IG-88, and the Bounty Hunters on Sabotage Showdown. So a nice Bounty Hunter list there, with Riff as a scoundrel. And then our final 2 and 1 was Brody, and they were running Mace Windu, Rex, and the 501st, with Kiadi, Shakti, and the Arfs on Sabotage Showdown. So, well done to Eric for the 3-0, but also, wow, what a mix of units. Not only the primary units, but also throughout the lists. What a varied choice of units that we see at that event. So, Canada, really, really healthy meta, it seems, if we look at this event. And our last event is in the United States of America. It's the Gongai April 2026 Shatterpoint Tournament. A 4-round event, and we can see that Shannon takes the win going 4-0. And they were running Obi-Wan Kenobi with Rex and the Republic Clone Commandos, Kit Fisto, Shakti and the 501st, Kiadi, Padawan Ahsoka and the 212th, and then Plo Koon, Barriss and the Naboo Royal Handmaidens. Very, very interesting. What a wacky list there of Galactic Republic. Amazing to see the Handmaidens in with Barriss and Plo. Really interested about that part of the list. Sabotage Showdown, the mission. So Shannon got a bye in the first round, then ran Kit Fisto with Plo, Kit Fisto with Kiadi, and Kit Fisto with Obi. So a Kit anchor here. Amazing to see. Didn't use one of the squads in the bye round and burn one of the squads in the bye round. Instead, chose to play each individual list there. So brilliant to see the Kit Fisto with Shakti and the 501st Clone Troopers being the anchor. And then the 3-1 list was Billy. And Billy was running on Sabotage Showdown, Kanan, Ezra, and the Rebel Commandos, standard build, with General Solo, Sabine, and Chopper, so lots of Spectre on the table. then Hunter, Wrecker and Omega, and Echo and Tech. So again, lots of Bad Batch there with Obi, Rex, and the 212th. And Billy was favouring the Kanan and Han, losing in round 1, but then rebounding with Kanan and Han twice, with the middle of the sandwich being the Obi and Hunter. But well done to Shannon for the 4-0. And that brings another stat show to a close. So if you have enjoyed the video, please do hit the like, the follow, the subscribe, ding the bell, etc, etc. Leave comments, you know the drill. Let's keep the channel growing. I'm hopeful that that by the end of the year we might even have 100 people following the channel, which would be lovely. So yes, do keep on supporting the channel in any way that you can. It is all really appreciated. So from me, in terms of other content that's coming up, I've just released the tournament video from the Dark Sphere event. So if you haven't seen that, go and watch that. And also Phil, who I mentioned in the stat show as well, he will be releasing a video later on today. Then I've got another interview with Fraser that's just come out yesterday as well. So there's another Jedi Council interview to catch up on if you haven't seen it. And then this weekend is the first GT of the season in the UK up in Sheffield, and I will be in attendance. So there will be a big tournament recap video coming on the Monday. So do keep your eyes open for that one as well. So with all that exciting content released and more to come, bye for now.